Hey, what's up my friends? My name is Bill. Welcome to Cars That Last. On today's video, the top 10 half-ton pickup trucks that last 300,000 miles or more. Now wait a minute, why can there be 10 pickup trucks when there's only 5 manufacturers? In this video, I'm going to share with you some valuable data on half-ton pickup trucks, which include both V6 engines and V8 engines. Which ones last longest? Now, if you're new to my YouTube channel, I study the car marketplace. I love to analyze data. I wanted to know which half-ton pickup truck lasts the longest. I want to share some key important points with you first. All trucks were for sale across the United States for $10,000 or less. Not only did I separate it for V6 trucks and V8 trucks, and I also wanted to see which brands actually lasted longer. Is there a difference between Chevy and GMC, for example? So I came up with 12 trucks in my study, and I'm going to share with you the data on the top 10. Now, if you own one of these trucks, this isn't to bash on any vehicle. I find that this information can help me determine how long it might make sense to keep my vehicle, or if you're in the market for a used truck, which one might make the most sense for you from a reliability standpoint. And I want to make sure I'm clear. I am unbiased. I know I drive a Chevy in the back there, but I also own 2 Ford cars and my wife has a Toyota SUV. I'm not sponsored by any company, nor do I receive endorsements. This is just what I like to do for my own information, and I want to share it with you. This group of vehicles as a whole has one of the highest percentages of vehicles above 200,000 miles at 23%. If we compare this to some of the other car categories that I've done, like small SUVs, they were at about 10% above 200,000 miles, and small cars at only 5%. Studying this information, there does seem to be some correlation between larger engines and lasting longer. So how long will these trucks last? Let's jump right into it. Truck number 10 is the Chevy Silverado with the V6. Out of over 600 trucks, 14% of them had above 200,000 miles, 6 of them had above 300,000 miles, and the highest was a 2008 model with a 4.3 liter V6, had 368,000 miles. Now the Chevy V8 scored higher on this list. I'm going to share the common problems with Chevy V8s when we get to that listing. In 9th place is the Ram V8. Out of over 1,700 trucks, 17.8% had above 200,000 miles. There were 10 Ram V8s above 300,000 miles. The highest was a 2005 model with a 5.7 liter V8 that had 351,000 miles. Now, out of the V8 trucks for Dodge, 4 5.7 liter V8s were above 300,000. 1 4.7 liter V8 was above 300. 2 5.9 V8s and 3 5.2 V8s had above 300,000 miles. Now, a reminder that Dodge trucks are now called Ram trucks. So most of these trucks were Dodge Ram trucks from the early 2000s. Common problems with these trucks in the early 2000s had cracked dashboards. Early to mid 2000 Dodge Rams with the 4.7 and the 5.7 liter V8 had issues with engine stalling. 2008 model Dodge Rams had a problem with the 4-wheel drive engaging. And from 2007 to 2011, the Dodge Ram and the Ram had an issue with the TIPM. That's the totally integrated power module. That's a common issue for many Dodge vehicles in this area of 2007 to 2011. It is basically the gateway to the electrical system in the vehicle that has been known to fail. Now, the good news with any of these trucks, when I list the problems with them, many of these issues are very well known, and you can find a lot of great information on the internet on how to affordably repair these issues. Number 8 is the Ford F-150 with the V6. Out of over 800 trucks, 8 trucks had more than 300,000 miles, all of which had the 4.2 liter V6. The highest truck was a 1998 model with a 4.2 liter V6, had over 381,000 miles. Now, this study does include vehicles with the EcoBoost V6. It's a turbocharged engine. I did not see any EcoBoost yet at 300,000 miles, somewhere in the 250,000 category. The EcoBoost for the Ford started in 2009. A word of caution, if you're buying a used F-150 EcoBoost, there has been an issue with loss of power when towing trailers. I'm going to put a word in for my buddy. He actually went through 2 F-150s with the EcoBoost V6. The first one didn't last more than 55,000 miles. The second one, he got nervous and traded it in for a Tundra. Truck number 7 is the GMC Sierra V6. Out of 136 trucks, there was only one truck above 300,000 miles. However, almost 20% of trucks had more than 200,000 miles. The highest mileage was a 1997 model with the 4.3 liter V6, had over 370,000 miles. Truck number 6 is the Ford F-150 V8. The Ford F-150 had the most vehicles for sale at over 4,000. 20.3% of vehicles had above 200,000 miles. There were 38 V8s above 300,000 miles, of which 16 had the 4.6 liter V8 and 20 had the 5.4 liter V8, whereas the remainder, there were 2 trucks from the 90s with the 5 liter V8. The highest truck was a 2009 model with the 4.6 liter V8, had over 429,000 miles. The Ford F-150 was one of 2 trucks in this study that had 2 vehicles above 400,000 miles. Now, sorry Lincoln fans, I didn't include Lincoln trucks in this study just because I didn't feel there was enough to include them in the data. But I would expect similar results along the lines of the Ford F-150. Common issues for the Ford F-150. The 2004 model had a lot of problems with the window not rolling up. Probably the biggest common issue with the 4.6 liter and the 5.4 liter V8. For the early 2000 engines, they had issues with the spark plugs breaking off and blowing out. Truck number 5 is the Chevy Silverado V8. There were over 2,700 Silverados for sale with the V8. 26.8% of Silverados had more than 200,000 miles, and 36 trucks had more than 300,000 miles. The highest Silverado was a 2003 model with a 4.8 liter V8. It was also the highest mileage truck in the study with over 449,000 miles. Now, the V8 Silverados that had more than 300,000 miles, 27 of them had the 5.3 liter V8, and 8 had the 4.8 liter V8. And truck number 4 is the GMC Sierra with the V8. Out of over 1,000 trucks, 28.1% had above 200,000 miles. 12 trucks had above 300,000 miles. The highest was also a 2003 model with the 5.3 liter V8. That had 387,000 miles. 9 GMC Sierras had the 5.3 liter V8 above 300,000 miles. And 3 had the 4.8 liter V8. Now, the Silverado and the Sierra are known to last a long time, and I'm going to talk about the problems with those after number 3 vehicle. All right, truck number 3, I snuck this one in. It's the Chevy Avalanche. Production was from 2001 to 2013. This is the truck that you can get the whole family in, or you can decide to fold the back seat down and make it an 8-foot bed. Out of over 700 vehicles, 32% had more than 200,000 miles. There were 4 Avalanches with more than 300,000 miles, and the highest Avalanche was a 2004 model with over 323,000 miles. That does feature the 5.3 liter V8. On a side note, you can find heavier duty engines such as an 8.1 liter and a 6 liter V8. Common problems with the Chevy and GMC trucks. Right off the bat, number 1, 2007 models for GMC, Chevy. These are going to include the trucks and vehicles like Suburbans and Tahoes. They have a problem on the 2007 model with excessive oil consumption. So if you're in the market for a used vehicle, watch out for the 2007 model. The 2004 Avalanche had some issues with the transmission failure, and earlier models starting in 2001 had issues with the plastic fading on the vehicle. Now, you decide whether you like the plastic or not, but the newer Avalanches went away with that plastic. I think it looked like a lot cleaner truck. As Chevy and GMC trucks age, you will find some common issues, such as, like my truck has an instrument cluster fading out. There have been a few cases of transmission failures. The 2014 models have issues with air conditioning failure, and even newer vehicles, the 2015 to 2017 trucks, also have had transmission problems. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's your vehicle, but it is something to keep your eye on for those vehicles. And I'm going to put a quick plug in for any of these trucks. If you are in the Rust Belt like I am here in Minnesota, one of the best things I did was travel south to buy a truck. Rust is a killer for a lot of these vehicles. The bodies won't last nearly as long as the engines will. Truck number 2 is the Toyota Tundra V6. This was the smallest truck category. There were only 73 vehicles in the study. 33% of Tundra V6s had more than 200,000 miles. The highest was a 2008 model with 335,000 miles. That features a 4-liter V6. There were 4 Tundra V6s that had more than 300,000 miles, 3 of which had the 3.4-liter V6 and 1 had the 4-liter V6. And finally, truck number 1, yeah, you can probably guess it, It's the Toyota Tundra V8. Out of almost 600 Tundra V8s, 45% of Tundras had more than 200,000 miles. 21 trucks had more than 300,000 miles. 16 of those had the 4.7 liter V8. 5 had the 5.7 liter V8. The 5.7 liter V8 started in the mid to late 2000s, so we just don't see as many of them with the high mileage yet. And I know a couple of you are waiting for commenting. Yes, 2 Toyota Tundras with the 4.7 liter V8 have hit 1 million miles on the original engine. The highest Tundra in this study was a 2004 model with the 4.7 liter V8 that had 429,000 miles. Now, problems with the Tundra, it's a very well-known issue to have frame rust on vehicles from 2007 to 2008. Those were covered under a Toyota recall, and that did expand to 2003 to 2006. So if you're in the market for a used Tundra, make sure to have that frame checked out before you purchase. Another common issue with older Tundras is a secondary air injection pump system failure. That's a spendy repair. However, there is an air inductant bypass kit that is available. Reminder that the Toyotas also have the Takata airbag recalls from 2003 to 2008. And reminder that from 2000 to 2004, the V6 Tundras have a timing belt. And from 2000 to 2009, the 4.7 liter V8 also has a timing belt that'll need to be replaced along with the water pump. That can be a $750 or more repair. All right, guys, well, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. What are your thoughts on these trucks? How many miles are on your pickup truck? I'd love to hear your comments. As always, thanks so much for watching. Consider hitting that subscribe button if you like this kind of information. Don't forget to like the video if you found it helpful. And when you subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell to be alerted to new videos. As always, thanks so much for watching. Namaste.